Nina is our youngest. She's 18 now. As soon as she was born, we knew there was something not quite right. And then we got a phone call saying from Great Ormond Street saying, we found out what it is and blah, blah, blah. It's something called PACS1.
The thing about Nina is she's so full of life and for her, in her world, she's so happy just being with her dog, her family, around music and doing the things that she likes doing. It's been actually beautiful and lovely to watch her develop, especially when she went into special needs schools. The head teacher, lovely head teacher, went with our mum to go and view all the different types of schools. And I remember my mum describing the experience of these schools and, you know, really harrowing sort of.
I mean, we went to one school, we both come out crying, it was awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely harrowing it was.
She can't cook on her own. She can't go to toilet fully on her own.
No, she can't,
still.
No.
So it's those things that, you know, these kids, they end up in a care home, which isn't the appropriate space for them. It's not appropriate for her.
I think this is where the whole life village concept come around, thinking, well, a lot of these people will be in a home when they're in their late 20s and 30s because the parents can't look after them. I don't really want my daughters to have to be burdened looking after their sister. I think for you, isn't it, the thought in the future, who looks after Nina?
That's what the whole life village would be. It would be assisted living with potentially a carer and have that community still because she needs to be around people, you know. I don't like the idea of her just being on her own.
I've met lots of other people that have got other disabilities, children with disabilities rather. One woman I remember coming in and she was just virtual, you could just see she's just having a breakdown in front of us. Whoever's going to be empowered doesn't seem to change. So that's why we've got to try and force change ourselves. It's a little bit chicken and egg, so that's why we're trying to raise money to do it.
Yeah, and doing it in a fun
Wacky
way.
Races.
Yeah.
I'm Roy Parrish.
And I'm Anya Parrish.
My middle daughter. So we're here to talk about the Wacky Races, the PACS1 charity and the whole life village and what it's like to be a father and a sibling of a child with a disability. The story goes back, I have an older daughter, Katia. This is Anya, and Nina is our youngest. She's 18 now. As soon as she was born, we knew there was something not quite right. The doctors could see it, but they couldn't tell us anything. They pretty much said, just go home, don't worry about it, go and see a GP, which was quite disheartening, to be honest. Didn't open her eyes for a couple of months, very not responsive to most things. So to the doctors, not getting any information whatsoever, just push from pillar to post. She was late developing everything, didn't move really, wouldn't sit up. She's like nearly 3, 4, and she started having these sort of rages of hitting her head on the floor so violently. It was just like awful to hear it. It wouldn't matter what surface, could be a concrete floor, couldn't she? She'd smash herself and hit herself in the face.
In the head, yeah.
So it was quite horrible to see that, wasn't it? And then how old were you when she was doing that?
I was 5 when she was born, so I was quite young. Obviously, technology of today, we had just started the iPhones and stuff like that, so we had some videos of her when she was younger. And, you know, I knew she was different, I guess, when she was young. I think I used to get quite embarrassed, actually, when we were in shops and stuff, and she'd have these sort of meltdowns, and it wasn't a normal meltdown of a kid just crying. You know, it was distress, and she couldn't express how she was feeling because she couldn't speak, so she couldn't talk until she was about 5 or 6, and still now her speech isn't, you know, as our speech would be.
No,
you know, we've learned to understand her in her own way, and she speaks a lot about stuff that she sees on TV shows and films and you know, stuff about her everyday life, but not much else really. And
she goes into little zones where she can't click out of it, and it's
ADHD, autism loops. You know, she'll tell you about her day, and you know, she does a lot of things. You know, you try to treat her the same as me and my sister. I mean, I do professional dancing, and my sister, she did dancing, a lot of different things, piano, cadets, gymnastics. We did everything as children. So, you know, it was a good experience, I guess, for you guys, for Nina to be the last child, because you had the experience of bringing up 2 other children, and then you kind of knew, okay, let's try.
Yeah, she still
try
does
it out.
ballet now.
She does ballet.
She gymnastics,
she did the disabled Olympics, didn't she?
Yeah,
she did in gymnastics, and she really enjoys singing, dancing, and again, I was really young when it was probably really difficult for you guys, but you didn't get a diagnosis until she was 8.
Yeah,
right?
we took swabs, DNA swabs, didn't we, of the whole family, and since I think she was probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then we got a phone call saying from Great Ormond Street saying, we found out what it is, and it's something called PACS1, PACS1, which is a very rare genetic mutation of number 75 in our, I remember that, in our DNA, we've got billions of. It's very difficult, or was very difficult back then, to sort of diagnose. And we found the professor that first diagnosed it in Holland.
Well, yeah, they said, this is the diagnosis. Join a Facebook group chat. That was it.
We said, what do you do? What do we do?
What do we do?
Nothing. Join a Facebook group. Off you go.
And that was it.
It was, when it was terrible. Mum, Natalia, she was crestfallen, wasn't she? Absolutely crestfallen. And then for you guys to sort of live with that and see that as well, we don't know how you feel about it, really.
I mean, I love her to pieces, you know that. It was stressful sometimes growing up because, trying to leave the house in the morning and Nina's having a meltdown over something or something or the other's happening, going wrong. And obviously Nina comes first, she's the priority. So that means if something's going wrong with Nina, or you can't get Nina to, get with the sort of program, or if a plan changes, it's the end of the world for her.
Yeah, it is,
if you're in the, she'd have these, try and open the doors of cars sometimes, and, we'd be changing a plan. I'm going to the doctors and she thinks she's going to the doctors, and she has this sort of fear of doctors and dentists. It's very difficult for her to go to those things. And she's very strong now as well. And she went through a phase of sort of hitting us, as siblings do, kind of like argue and stuff. She'd like hit us and stuff like that. But she doesn't know her own strength. But it's been actually beautiful and lovely to watch her develop, especially when she went into a special needs school. So she originally was just in a
mainstream
primary school, and they just kept holding her back years. And then the head teacher,
that's why she got so many friends. When we walk around, everyone goes,
everyone knows
it's Nina, but they're
in our
like
hometown,
18 sort of plus now.
Yeah, they all go, you're Nina's sister. I remember going to primary school with her, and then the head teacher, lovely head teacher, went with our mum to go and view all the different types of schools. And I remember my mum describing the experience of these schools, and, really harrowing sort of.
Went to one school, we both come out crying. It was awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely harrowing it was. And it was, you just looked at some of the disabilities of the children. And I suppose that's where I've gone to visit lots of people trying to help us with the charity, that I've met lots of other people that have got other disabilities, children with disabilities rather. And you just see how one woman, I remember coming in and she was just virtually, you could just see she's just having a breakdown in front of us. And her husband left her, and, suicidal rates and mental health issues with parents and siblings, because siblings do look after the children a lot as well.
Yeah,
and also, I think for you, isn't it, the thought in the future, who looks after Nina?
Yeah.
I think this is where the whole life village concept come around, thinking, well, I don't really want my daughters to have to be burdened looking after their sister. I know you will.
Obviously we don't see it like that,
but that's, for me as a parent, I think want you guys to have your own lives.
Yeah.
And it is difficult. So, and there's no, she's whole of life. There's life term is not be shortened. That's what they say. So,
well, you don't really know. That's the whole. That's
and
the
she
whole
doesn't
point.
Party like you. So she's probably going to be a lot healthier.
Well, for her 18th, we actually hired out a club in London, because she just loves dancing so much, and obviously no alcohol involved. But she was just singing karaoke, Frozen, all these sort of Disney songs all night with just her friends and her family. That is the thing about Nina, is she's so full of life, and she, I think from an outside perspective, you see more of the things that she's missing out on, and you see more of the things that she's not maybe getting to do. But for her, in her world, she's so happy just being with her dog, her family, around music and doing the things that she likes doing. And, as you say, when she went to the special needs school, it really helped her to understand, I think, herself as well, because you do realise you're different. I think she did realise she was a bit different to other children. So then she's made friends with other children with other disabilities, mild disabilities.
She's at college now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's at college now, and she's in her last year of college, and it's kind of like, okay, what's next?
They go to Witherspoons all the time.
They go to Witherspoons.
So where have you been today? Witherspoons. I'm like, what are you going to Witherspoons for?
To learn how to order a burger and sit and eat in a restaurant, and they help them to cook. And it's more about the life skills at that sort of stage. And that's what the whole life village would be. It would be assisted living with potentially a carer and have that community still, because she needs to be around people. I don't like the idea of her just being on her own. I like the idea of being able to live with her for a week, or me and my sister share living with her, or her coming to me, but she has her own space and she has a carer, because she can't do those things on her own. She can't cook on her own. She can't go to toilet fully on her own still. So it's those things that, you have to, these kids, they either end up in a care home, which isn't the appropriate space for them. It's not appropriate for her because she's so full of life.
Staff aren't trained properly, or they end up in sort of, not asylum, that's the wrong word, but they end up in places where really they're with children that are very, very badly disabled, and there's lots of violence around, and we have...
Well, there's a lot of abuse and exploitation in these places, and there's been lots of cases throughout the UK of people in nurseries,
we all know them, don't we?
Stuff like that.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Not knowing how to care for these children, or
so with us, the whole life village would be, we're working with a couple of architects that have worked on similar sort of care places, or Alzheimer's village as well, which is quite cool. So they don't look like prisons, but they've still got to be safe.
Yeah,
but they're good places to teach carers, train carers, security, but also so you have your day centre they come into, then you have more of an old people's home. When I say old people's home, a lot of these people will be in a home when they're in their late 20s and 30s, because the parents can't look after them anymore, because they just can't, because of age, illness, or they're too difficult to look after for many different reasons. There are obviously things like this in the country, but we're thinking of looking at it and rolling it out to help government, because government is definitely struggling. Local authorities are definitely struggling. And again, we know the current financial environment out there at the moment, things like this just aren't viable. We can argue about the red rosette, blue rosette, whoever's going to be in power doesn't seem to change. So that's why we've got to try and force change ourselves and then go to government afterwards for grants. But it's a little bit chicken and egg, so that's why we're trying to raise money to do it.
Yeah, and doing it in a fun way.
Races.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of being event coordinator and organiser alongside Harry, whilst also working for Pelham. And it was, very hard for a small team to put on such a big event. I think last year it was a lot smaller.
You aced it.
I did. Last year it was a lot smaller. I mean, I was nervous every single time we were pulling up to the hotels. I was like, oh God, is it going to be good? Is it going to be a catfish hotel? And I've booked something terrible. But yeah, it was a fun experience, and it was good to meet all different people from the industry and see that community and that family like grow in front of me, because you've always spoken about it. You've done it. I don't know how many years you've been doing Wacky Races for.
Well, we had to have a big break because of COVID.
Yeah, of course.
After we had a 3-year break, which is sort of we had to almost start again.
Yeah.
So I think this is our 6th year.
Yeah.
It was our 6th year. I mean, the first year, Cassie came.
Yeah.
And we did it in cars for £1,000 or less. You had to buy off eBay, which was interesting. And then we did another couple. But we did one to Germany with a lot of the boys as well, which is really interesting. And now we've, the last couple of years been really successful.
Yeah.
And we're just sort of building on that all the time. And as I say, we're going to use a more professional team to do all the videography,
the social media,
I
really, enjoyed doing the social media this year.
It was just like Harry and me.
Yeah, it was.
Now you're on it. So then we've got another team. So Chris is on it. So I think next year is going to be really, really good. So 25 cars is going to be quite special. Done really well, really professionally. I don't think we'll be able, better the team, but we'll definitely be able to keep building on how the experience goes for everybody, because it's all around the social media side.
It's a learning curve, really.
Yeah.
And it's grown so rapidly, and it's been so successful. And everyone that's come here today has spoken so highly of the experience and how it's it's helped people get work, which I think is
it's amazing.
Amazing.
I think it's brilliant. Going on our event. It's
so cool, fantastic. And I think it's so nice that everyone is so committed and passionate about helping me. Like that's the thing. It's quite emotional because these people are helping raise money to help me and other children.
Yeah, it's good.
And it's going to help me to look after my younger sister, basically, which is something that I hold very close to my heart.
And I think the way it works in our business is we like how that works there as well. Part of our corporate social responsibility. I've been raising money for charities before my daughter was disabled, and I remember doing it in Russia and various other places. So I've always raising money for charity is always close to my heart. And again, I'm more interested in ones that you have direct action in, and there's not lots of people that are taking money and have a big board and a chairperson that's on £200,000-300,000 a year. I don't really agree to giving to those sorts of charities. I think most people don't want to give to those sorts of charities.
Well, yeah, because you don't look at anything from this. You know, everything just goes back into making the event better and also raising money towards. So
please, everybody, look at small charities, especially ours. And look at small charities that make direct change for people, because they are important. I mean, to me, I think, you know, next we've got the gala dinner coming up.
Yeah, we do. Auction gala dinner.
The auction, is going to be great. Got some fantastic prizes in the auction. We've got Givergy.
Yeah, Givergy.
It's Givergy,
and Tim Stansbury is the speaker, so he'll be helping to just drive all of those donations, drive the sales, and raise the most amount of money possible. Yeah.
But we've got a good DJ this year, haven't we?
We do.
Really interesting DJ. Some couple of little things that are going to happen in the evening, which is going to be good. So so as always at Down Hall. So Down Hall, where they did the British Bake Off.
Yep.
So that's a nice location, close to us as well.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get someone to arrive in a helicopter, but I'm working on that at the moment, because Jeff's helicopter's in bits. He doesn't really fix, so Jeff can't bring his helicopter. Jeff, he let me down, but Jeff will be there. He will be there, so it'll be good. So we've got a lot of got a few veterans that have came on the first Wacky Races are coming to the gala dinner, which is really cool. So a lot of really interesting people are going to be there. Lots of people that haven't been on events. Hopefully we get some
people
sign-ups.
That want to come next year.
Exactly. Yeah, so it'll be good. And Chris and Harry have been working on putting a video for the event for that evening together, I hope. I want to see it. I haven't seen a proof of it yet. It'd be really interesting to see it. But no, I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to next year. We've got the route pretty much, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're pretty down with it now, haven't we? Been quite stressful.
Yeah. No.
Dates were hard because
dates were hard this year.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you get your heart set on these hotels, and I'm showing you, like, look, I love this one, and, you know, you talk with them, and a lot of them don't like that you do one night. You have to, you know, most of the time get dinner in these hotels, and, you know, they can be quite pricey because especially the route we're going on this year is a bit more of a pricier route. I'm trying not to give too much away. It's really difficult.
Yeah, we mixed up a bit this year.
But so it's, you know, you have your heart set on some of these hotels and it doesn't sort of work out. But, you know, it always.
We managed to get what we want to do, so it's good.
We have.
That's good.
But, you know, we've also worked on what people wanted, which was shorter stops and more time in some of those places, which would be really nice, and hopefully we have more opportunities for the social media.
There's still lots of driving and passes.
Still lots of driving, still passes, mixture of roads and countryside and cities. So it's everything that everyone wants, really. But yeah. So
I suppose, you know, what's next for it all? I suppose just keep doing it and growing it. But we've got other events we're going to do.
Hopefully more events. So, you know, we've got the gala event and we've got obviously the main Europe car tour. We would like to do a sort of golf day potentially, or just, you know, we're still cooking up some ideas of things we can do throughout the year to just raise the most amount of money possible.
I was talking to John Gleasier, very interesting man in sports and online betting and boxing especially. I'm meeting him next week. He's going to run through some ideas with me. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to doing that. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Thanks everybody, and thanks for all your time, and thanks for all the donations from people, because obviously without those donations and people coming to the event, sponsors, it wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.